Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you've ever found yourself irresistibly drawn to a married woman, you already know that winning her over isn't as simple as charming a single woman. A married woman has experience. She understands the games men play, has seen it all before, and can spot hidden motives from a mile away. You might notice her flirting, but she'll retreat when you push too hard. So, how do you break through her defenses? How do you position yourself as the one she wants to escape to, rather than just another guy seeking her attention? In this video, we're diving deep into 7 powerful strategies to navigate this delicate situation with patience, precision, and emotional intelligence. By the end, you'll know exactly how to create attraction without setting off alarm bells. So stay tuned, because every step matters, and trust me, you don't want to miss the final tip. Let's get started. 1. Find out what's missing in her relationship. A woman rarely seeks something new when everything in her relationship is fulfilled. Attraction is not simply about looks or charm. It is about understanding what is missing in her life and being the man who naturally fills that void. A subtle but undeniable shift occurs when she feels heard, seen, and understood in a way her partner fails to provide. She begins to crave the presence of the man who offers what she lacks. Pay attention to the small details. Women express dissatisfaction not always in direct words, but in subtle complaints, sighs, or how their energy shifts when specific topics arise. She may say her husband always works late, but she reveals her loneliness. She might casually mention that he no longer notices when she wears something new, but a more profound yearning for attention, validation, and desire lies beneath that statement. These are the moments when a man who listens carefully gains insight into the emotional gaps in her life. A woman's unmet needs create a natural opening for the right man. If she is emotionally neglected, she will seek deep conversations with someone who makes her feel heard without judgment. If she is physically unfulfilled, she will gravitate toward a presence that ignites something within her, a man whose touch, voice, or mere presence awakens a side of her that has been dormant. If she feels unappreciated, she will be drawn to the man who makes her feel special, notices the details, and brings out her feminine energy in ways her partner no longer does. This is not about manipulation. It is about awareness. A woman does not stray because she is inherently disloyal. She strays because a part of her longs to feel alive again. When she finds a man who makes her feel seen, she does not rationalize her attraction. It happens on an instinctual level, beyond logic or morality. The man who provides what is missing becomes irresistible, not because he forces it, but because he effortlessly embodies what she craves. But power comes with responsibility. Exploiting her emotional vulnerability for selfish gain may lead to temporary pleasure, but it will also create resentment and guilt. Women are deeply intuitive. They can sense when a man is genuine and when he is merely playing a game. The goal should never be to manipulate her into bed, but to create a connection so profound that she willingly chooses the experience. When a woman trusts that a man truly understands her, when she feels emotionally safe yet deeply desired, the connection becomes something more than just an escape. It becomes an undeniable force that she will return to again and again, not out of need, but out of pure, undeniable want. 2. Become her confidant and friend. Trust is the foundation of attraction, and for a woman who feels emotionally unfulfilled, the man who listens without judgment, who makes her feel genuinely heard, becomes someone she can't help but be drawn to. Women crave emotional intimacy just as much as physical connection, And when she begins to confide in you, it's a sign that she is emotionally invested. She opens a door that few men can walk through if she feels safe enough to share her frustrations, fears, and desires. But this door does not open through force, but through patience, presence, and understanding. Listening is an art. Most men listen with the intent to reply, to offer solutions, or to shift the conversation back to themselves. But the man who truly captivates a woman listens with no agenda. He absorbs her words, acknowledges her emotions, and responds in a way that makes her feel understood. He does not immediately offer advice unless she asks for it. He does not minimize her feelings or rush to make her feel better. Instead, he creates a space where she can express herself freely. When a woman feels emotional safety, she associates that feeling with you. She looks forward to your conversations. She seeks you out when she needs comfort. And without realizing it, she begins to crave your presence. This is where most men fail. They mistake emotional connection for an opportunity to escalate things too quickly. They push for something physical before the emotional foundation is solid. But attraction built on emotional trust is far more potent than attraction built on fleeting moments of seduction. If a woman is unhappy in her relationship, she is not just seeking excitement, she is seeking someone who makes her feel valued and sees her for who she truly is. If you can become that person, the attraction will develop naturally. A woman who confides in you about her relationship is not necessarily inviting you to fix it or to intervene. She is testing to see if you understand her, if you respect her, and if you can handle her truth without judgment. She does not want a man who tells her what she should do. She wants a man who simply lets her be. She does not need you to save her, but if you become the person she can be vulnerable with, you become irreplaceable. Patience is key. Do not pry. Do not push for details she is not ready to share. Let her reveal things in her own time. Keep conversations engaging, but do not make them overly heavy. Balance depth with lightness so she feels understood and uplifted when talking to you. Women are drawn to men who can navigate both sides, who can handle deep conversations but also make them laugh, who can be both strong and compassionate. Emotional attraction is the gateway to something more. It does not happen instantly, but when it does, it is far more potent than anything purely physical. And when a woman feels deeply connected to you emotionally, everything else follows naturally. 3. Be the man she strives for. A woman in a stagnant relationship does not wake up one day and decide to seek excitement elsewhere. It happens gradually, a growing dissatisfaction, a lingering sense of something missing, a quiet longing for the passion that once set her heart on fire. She may not even realize it at first, but as the days turn into months and the routine of her life dulls her senses, she begins to notice the contrast, the difference between what she has and what she craves. And in that space of unmet desire, an opportunity emerges for the man who understands how to position himself as the alternative she never knew she needed. This does not mean mimicking the man she is already with. She wouldn't be drawn to something new if her current relationship fulfilled her. Instead, you must identify the voids that exist in her life and become the embodiment of what she lacks. If her relationship has become predictable, be the source of spontaneity, the man who introduces her to new experiences and reminds her what it feels like to be truly alive. If she feels unheard, become the one who listens, not just passively, but with an intensity that makes her feel deeply understood. If she lacks physical intimacy, it creates an atmosphere of subtle but undeniable tension, a presence that makes her body react before her mind even has time to rationalize what is happening. Attraction is not a matter of chance, but a response to value. A woman will not risk everything for just anyone. She needs to see you as someone worth wanting, someone who offers what she secretly longs for but cannot find. The man who reignites the parts of her that have been neglected, the one who makes her feel like a woman again, not just a partner in a routine existence. But this is where most men fail. They either try too hard, becoming overly available and eager to please, or mirror their husband too closely, offering nothing new or exciting. She truly desires contrast. A man who embodies a world she has been deprived of, a presence that stirs emotions she thought had faded. The key is not to force anything. A woman in this situation does not want pressure. She wants a reason to look at you differently, to wonder what it would be like to lose herself in your energy. If you present yourself as that man, the one who understands her desires without demanding them, who awakens something in her without expectation, you will become the temptation she cannot ignore, not because you asked for it, but because she cannot help herself. 4. Make her feel special and wanted. Many women in long-term relationships quietly carry a sense of invisibility. The excitement of being pursued fades. The compliments become rare, and the feeling of being truly desired is replaced by routine. She still loves her partner, but something inside her longs for that spark again. The validation that she is special, wanted and seen. This is why a man who can make a woman feel appreciated in ways she no longer experiences becomes unforgettable in her mind. To do this effectively, one must go beyond surface-level flattery. A woman knows the difference between a genuine compliment and one spoken simply to gain her favor. Telling her she is beautiful is nice, but telling her how she expresses herself captivates you, or that she thinks she is uniquely brilliant makes her feel understood. Most men focus solely on appearance, but a man who notices her intellect, her passions, or the small details that make her who she is, stands out. When she speaks, truly listen. When she shares something meaningful, remember it. When she achieves something, she acknowledges it in a way that makes her feel valued. A woman does not just want to be admired, she wants to be recognized for who she truly is. Flirting adds another layer to this dynamic. Playfulness creates excitement. A well-placed teasing remark or a confident lingering gaze reminds her that she is still desirable. Many women in relationships feel like they have been placed on a shelf, admired at first but eventually forgotten. A man who engages her in light-hearted, effortless flirtation reignites something within her. But there is a balance. Overdoing it can make it seem forced, while the right amount leaves a lasting impression. It is not about chasing her. It is about allowing her to feel the pull of your presence. The key is sincerity. Women are highly attuned to authenticity. She will instantly sense if your words are rehearsed or if your attention feels transactional. The goal is not to win her over with empty praise, but to reflect on the qualities that make her extraordinary. When a woman associates you with the feeling of being truly appreciated, of being desired rarely, she will think of you even when you are not around. And once you occupy that space in her mind, you become someone she cannot ignore. 5. Build up the sexual tension gradually. Attraction is not about rushing into physical intimacy. It is about creating an environment where the tension builds naturally and the anticipation becomes as exciting as the following moment. A man who understands this does not force chemistry. He lets it unfold. He knows that desire is not created through words alone, but through subtle gestures. playful interactions, and the unspoken electricity between two people. The key is to start small, a light touch as he guides her through a door, a playful tap on the arm when teasing her, a brief but deliberate brush of hands that lingers just a second longer than necessary. These gestures are not overt, yet they send a clear message. They introduce physicality in a way that feels effortless, not forced. At the same time, he uses his words carefully. He doesn't explicitly state his intentions. He lets them linger between the lines. A well-placed tease, a subtle innuendo, a slow, deliberate pause in conversation where their eyes lock just long enough for her to wonder what he is thinking. This is where attraction grows. It is not about what is said, but what is felt. Women are highly attuned to body language. The way a man looks at her, the way he leans in just slightly closer when she speaks, the way his voice lowers when the conversation becomes more intimate. All of these things communicate desire without a single word being spoken. The beauty of building tension is that it allows her to participate actively. If she responds positively, mirroring his gestures, playing along with his teasing, finding tiny excuses to touch him in return, she is already considering where the night could lead. But there is a balance. Push too hard and she will instinctively pull away. Move too fast and the moment loses its intensity. A man who rushes, leans in too aggressively and makes his intentions too obvious too soon, risks turning attraction into discomfort. The key is patience. Watching her reactions, sensing her comfort, and knowing when to slow down or when to escalate. The best moments of intimacy are not the ones that happen suddenly, but have been simmering beneath the surface for hours, waiting for the right moment to ignite. A man who understands this never chases the moment. He creates the space for it to happen naturally. He does not ask for permission, nor does he demand it. He simply moves confidently, knowing true attraction is not about force, but invitation, the kind that makes her lean in without even realizing she has moved. 6. Find opportunities to be alone with her. Attraction rarely explodes into existence in the middle of a crowded room. It is a slow-burning fire, ignited in moments of privacy, when two people feel the magnetic pull of unspoken possibilities. A woman may feel intrigued by a man in a public setting, but true seduction unfolds in spaces where barriers disappear, where the world fades into the background, leaving only the two of them. This is why finding opportunities to be alone with her is essential. Without the noise of others or the unspoken pressure of social expectations, a different kind of energy takes over. One that allows for connection to deepen, tension to build, and desire to surface in an effortless way. Creating this space requires intention, but never force. A man who understands attraction does not push or manipulate situations to isolate a woman. He simply recognizes and takes advantage of natural opportunities. If they work together, he finds ways to stay late on a shared project, letting the quiet of an empty office transform casual conversations into something more intimate. If they attend the same events, he offers her a ride home, not as a calculated move, but as an organic way to extend their time together. If they are already spending time in a group setting, he subtly shifts the dynamic, steering the conversation into personal territory, creating a moment where it feels like just the two of them, even in a crowded space. The key is making it seem effortless, as if the universe conspires to bring them closer. There is a reason women hesitate to engage in anything too forward in public. The eyes of others act as a silent judge, keeping her guarded, making her second-guess even the most natural impulses. But she can relax when she finds herself alone with a man, away from external scrutiny. She can let go of the need to maintain an image. In that space, emotions take the lead over logic. The unspoken tension between them, once buried beneath layers of social politeness, begins to surface in the way she leans in just a little closer, in the way her voice softens, in the way a shared glance lingers for a fraction of a second longer than before. Yet, this is where many men make mistakes. They either try too hard to manufacture alone time, making it feel forced and unnatural, or they fail to recognize when the moment is right. A man who pushes too aggressively and insists on private meetings without an apparent reason risks making her feel uneasy. Attraction thrives on comfort. The spell is broken if she senses even a hint of pressure. Instead of feeling drawn to him, she becomes cautious and defensive. The best moments are the ones that unfold naturally, where she finds herself alone with him and realizes she wants to be there, where she feels like she made the choice rather than being maneuvered into it. A man who masters this art understands that seduction is not about grand gestures or calculated moves, but about presence. It is about creating a space where she feels safe enough to let her guard down, where curiosity turns into intrigue, and where the shift from friendly conversation to something more charged happens so subtly that she cannot pinpoint the exact moment it changed. And when that happens, when she finds herself drawn into the moment without even realizing it, attraction is no longer a possibility, it is inevitable. 7. Keep a low profile. There is an art to maintaining intrigue in a relationship, especially in its early stages. Keeping a low profile allows the dynamic to unfold naturally without external pressure or unnecessary complications. Women are sensitive to social perception, and if a situation becomes too public too quickly, it can trigger a sense of discomfort, making her second-guess her attraction. By keeping interactions discreet, you remove the burden of outside judgment, allowing her to explore her emotions without feeling scrutinized. A mistake many men make is openly displaying their interest in front of others, whether through excessive flirting, grand gestures, or discussing their intentions with mutual friends. This increases the risk of interference from outsiders who may not have your best interests at heart, and puts unnecessary pressure on her. When a woman feels that others are watching, she may hesitate to act on her feelings, not because she is not attracted, but because the situation suddenly carries unwanted expectations. By contrast, when you keep things between the two of you, she can engage at her own pace without worrying about external judgment. Respecting her need for privacy is essential. She may pull away as a defense mechanism if you push the relationship into the public eye before she is ready. This is especially true in workplace dynamics, social circles, or situations where discretion is necessary. A woman must feel emotionally safe before she can fully embrace a connection, and that sense of security often comes from knowing that what happens However, discretion does not mean secrecy with an ulterior motive. There is a distinct difference between maintaining privacy and making a woman feel like a hidden option. Never pressure her into keeping things quiet for your convenience. Let her set the boundaries and follow her lead. If she shows discomfort or hesitation, be perceptive enough to ease off rather than push forward recklessly. If people start noticing and gossiping, take a step back, allowing the situation to settle before continuing at a natural pace. Attraction thrives in an environment free from external complications. When you remove the noise of outside opinions, the connection develops organically. Women are drawn to men who understand social dynamics and are patient enough to let things evolve without forcing them into the spotlight. By keeping a low profile, you give her the space to choose you without pressure. which only deepens the intensity of the connection. Ultimately, the most substantial relationships are built not on public spectacle, but on an unspoken bond long before the world takes notice. Conclusion. Seducing a married woman is a delicate and strategic process that requires patience, subtlety, and emotional intelligence. The key isn't to pressure her, but to fulfill what's missing in her life naturally and effortlessly. The more she trusts you, the more she will begin to desire you, and once that emotional and physical attraction takes root, it becomes nearly impossible for her to ignore. However, it's essential always to be aware of the risks. Emotional involvement can lead to unpredictable consequences, and what starts as a simple distraction can quickly become something far more complicated. The true art of seduction lies in understanding boundaries, maintaining discretion, and knowing when to pull back. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a situation like this? What strategies have worked for you in building attraction? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for deeper insights into attraction, psychology, and relationships. See you in the next one.